sent you those videos this afternoon. You should get the email about them pretty soon.
Welcome to Titan Talks. How y'all doing?
How you doing, Jim?
Good.
What's with the
stuff off here?
What's with the music?
Oh, we're trying to have an entrance.
Oh, okay.
Trying to be fancy here. It didn't work as smooth as wanted it to, but you know that's how it goes sometimes.
Hey, it was good. Hey, what the heck?
How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good to see you.
Good.
We're our welcome to the February 4th, 2021 Titan Talks. Glad to have you. Today's program is working in conjunction with AccuTie and Jimmy Clint. And Jimmy Clint is on here, but we're trying to reach him. Can you hear us?
I finally have audio. Everything's working well now.
There you are. We're trying to get him on before you all, but Jimmy's here. Say hello, Jimmy.
Hi, everyone. How are you all?
Hey, Jay.
Good, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Well, we're glad to have him here. Some of you are probably real familiar with AccuTie and their products. Some of you might want to know about it, and hopefully everyone will learn a little something. It's a pretty neat company, pretty neat people, top of the line stuff. So I see everyone checking in. Let me keep checking people in. We got more. It takes me a moment here. Let's see here. Bear with me. I'm not the best at this. I think we got everybody in so far.
I sent your man those videos you asked about. You should have them today or tomorrow.
Yeah. Corey, I think, has received them and looked at them, confirmed that he got them okay and we can see them. Appreciate that. He's going to email you back.
Okay, no problem. Like I say, there's two little short ones, the other long one.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. We appreciate it.
I don't know how the quality transferred, but we'll see.
Well, it'll be as good as whatever you sent us. It works pretty good, actually.
Yeah, well, they were taken in high def, but sometimes when you compress them, they don't kind of translate very well.
Yeah. Yep. Well, how's the weather out there? We're all over the country here. How's your weather?
Oh, it's pretty good. It's a little bit on the cold side, but it's warming up.
Yeah.
72 in Los Angeles.
72?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a reason to be there.
I'll send you some of my snow if you want it. I've got a couple of feet to spare.
Blizzard in Iowa.
Yeah. We're 34 and blizzarding in Chicago.
Oh, yuck.
It's 80. It's 80 in Houston today, so we're enjoying the sunshine and a breeze, and we're out at the track earlier. It's really nice.
Well,
Hey, rub it in.
Go ahead, rub it in.
Beautiful.
Jim, I wanted to thank you for the calendar.
Oh, you're welcome.
Very much. Thank you.
Hope you enjoy it. Hope you all enjoy them. And keep in mind, send us your pictures for the 2022 calendar.
Will do.
Good pictures tend to be 3/4 shots. And also, it's good to have some people in them, maybe. We like to see the trains. We like to see some people, and we like to see some good scenery. So, all of that makes a great shot.
Let me say hello to Rick White.
Rick White.
Yes. Hello, Richard Osborne.
There you go. All right, we're still letting some people in here.
Yeah, I like Richard Osborne's hat there. It looks good on him.
Today at world headquarters of Titan Trains, it's probably about 45 degrees and sunny outside. We had a little bit of snow Sunday, but it all went away quick. And it actually feels nice outside today, but it will get cold tonight. So we'll catch up with a few of you. But 72 in LA sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about
All
40
right.
degrees and sunny up here.
Well, we're gonna get going here. Our main person to introduce is Jimmy Clint of AccuTie. Like I said, really neat firm, really neat product. Take it away, Jimmy. Say a few things. We're going to show a little presentation, but let's talk to Jimmy some. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jimmy from AccuTie here, and I appreciate the invite from Jim to do this Titan Talk. Get to meet some people out there and kind of talk to you all about our product and what we do. And we really think we have a pretty decent product out on the market there to kind of take all the work and frustration out of having to cut wooden ties and drill holes and do all the drilling and everything. We have a tie where everything's all done, all the holes are in it. It's molded out of polypropylene plastic, so it's really tough material, and it stays in gauge all the time. Every single tie is a gauge. You never have to worry about going around re-gauging your layout ever, because it holds them in gauge indefinitely. We've had them down on our layout for about 12 years or so, and they look like the day we put them in. So they seem to hold up really well, and they don't rot. So it's it's a really good way for us to get rid of polypropylene that we accumulate polypropylene scrap from our injection molding facility, and we're thinking of a interesting product we could make to use up our old scrap polypropylene. And we have been involved in the train hobby for a while, and that just was a perfect way to utilize this plastic, because it's once run polypropylene grindings, so it's got like 95% of its virgin properties still in it. So it's a great use for the material, because it'll hold up for many years.
Well, anyone have any questions before we show the presentation? It's showing the track panel and building a track panel, I think.
What is the gauge on your track?
We have several different gauges. We have 7 5/8 gauge, 7 1/2 gauge for those who would like to run either 7 5/8 or 7 1/2 or 7 1/4. And then we also have 7 1/4. So those are the various gauges we have. We also have several different rail base widths as well.
And whose rail do you use on your stuff?
We extrude our own rail. We have a company
really?
out of Pennsylvania that does all of our extrusions. We for 7/8 rail base and 15/16 rail base. And we're currently working with an offshore provider right now to get steel rail as well into our catalog.
So right now it's all aluminum?
Currently, yes. We're real close. I mean, it's just a matter of kind of just getting a load of it shipped over here. So
Yeah. LALS only uses steel. And for some reason, I think that you were down at LALS at one time.
yes, I've been there, and I know that my two uncles, who are the owners of our company, who really developed this product from the ground up, have been out there as well. Matter of fact, actually, I think they're members of LALS.
Okay. Do I know him?
Yeah, Marty and Valent Melick are the two guys.
Okay.
I had a question about the gauging. What's the difference? What's the advantage between the 7 5/8 and 7 1/2?
Going with 7 5/8 all around is nice, because when you go around curves, you don't get that squealing. a lot, there's kind of a couple schools of thought. Some people put 7.5 on the straight of ways and then use 7 5/8 and, going around bends. But I think the majority of people out there use 7 5/8 just for everything, because it just makes things much more simple, because you only have one gauge, and it works perfectly for 7.5.
Well, 7 5/8 helps the equipment go around the curves a lot easier, because the wheels are gauged for 7.5. And if you're going around a curve at 7.5, everything is really fighting, when there's plenty of tolerance to have a 7 5/8 gauge. Even on the straightaways, you won't have any problems. That's my experience over the years. So you can't go wrong with a little bit wider gauge. You can go wrong if you're right on the money, right at 7.5.
Right. Of all the years I've been doing this, I never knew that. I thought it was all 7.5.
Well, we all learn something sometimes, huh?
Oh, there is some 7 1/4 too.
Oh yeah, I think that's up north somewhere.
Which we make ties for the 7 1/4 folks. We also make switches for 7 1/4. So, because there's a lot of guys out there that use 7 1/4, especially overseas. We have quite a few customers in New Zealand who use all 7 1/4. That's kind of standard over there in Australia and New Zealand.
I wish there was some place that would run dual gauge so we could go back and forth. We're kind of captive over here with our equipment.
I can tell you that the Baltimore Club did try dual gauging 7 1/4 and 7.5 for many years, but it got to be a real problematic to maintain equipment to run on both gauges or maintain the track. You can do real good with one or the other, but it's hard to have both of them do real good.
You've got to have wide tires, and self-guarding frogs usually helps.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's have Corey roll the footage of AccuTie. This is a neat little thing, and then we'll chat some more afterwards. Roll it away. Take it away, Corey. Oh, we need some sound, Corey. We're going to try it one more time. Da-da-da-dum. I should have elevator music for this.
Yeah, it's always handy to keep that on.
Hi, I'm Jimmy from AccuTie Rail Systems, your one-stop shop for all your tackling needs. Today, we're going to put together a 10-foot section of rail for you using our fixture to show you the speed and efficiency of our system. Well, we all know that when putting track down, getting a lot of track laid in one day is really important. And to do that, we found that using a fixture is a key ingredient to that success. So what we're going to do is kind of go over, we use 30 ties per 10-foot length when we're laying track. And there's really no standard, set standard for how many ties you need to put down. We
lost it. We're going to try again. Third time's the charm, or not.
That's right.
All right, can you see that?
Yep, we're good. Let her rip.
Hi, I'm Jimmy from AccuTie Rail Systems, your one-stop shop for all your track laying needs. And today, we're going to put together a 10-foot section of rail for you using our fixture to show you the speed and efficiency of our system. Well, we all know that when putting track down, getting a lot of track laid in one day is really important. And to do that, we found that using a fixture is a key ingredient to that success. So what we're going to do is kind of go over, we use 30 ties per 10-foot length when we're laying track. And there's really no standard, set standard for how many ties you need to put down. We just like the aesthetics of 30. So I'm going to bring Dave down and we're going to go ahead and assemble this 10-foot section for you. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and load our fixture up with our plastic ties here. Okay, so now that we have all of our ties set in place, we're going to go ahead and grab our first 10-foot section rail here and set it inside the tie plates. Now it's time for screws. Okay, so now we're going to take our driver here and start installing screws. When we put our screws in, we put them straight across from one another, so that way when we attach the rail to the tie, it holds nice and secure when we're hauling out to the job site. You're also going to notice on our ties that there are 4 sets of holes on each side of the tie. We only utilize 2 of the holes on each tie per side, which gives you an extra set of holes if you ever decide to move a layout or need to move track panels around. It gives you a nice fresh set of holes to put your next set of rail in. Okay, so now that we have all the screws tightened down for the outside rail, we're going to go ahead and just start the screws for the inside rail and not tighten them down. This allows us to be able to take the inside rail and slide it back and forth to position it to the next joint, so with the to minimize the amount of trimming that we have to do. Another thing to mention is the fact that we're starting the screws up here on the table rather than having to kneel on the ground and put screws in. Makes it a lot easier on the back. Also to mention, when you're putting your next set of screws in for starting, put them directly across from the set of screws that you already put in for the outside rail. This keeps everything in line and keeps everything to gauge. Okay, so now we have all the screws started here. We're going to grab our other aluminum rail, set it in between the screws. And for transportation, a lot of guys like to go and just go ahead and tighten 2 of the screws down just to hold the rail in place for transport. Then when you get it out to the field to attach it to the last section you already have in the ground, you loosen those 2 screws and then this aluminum rail can slide back and forth, so that way you can minimize the amount of trimming you have to do and just go ahead and put a joiner on rather than having to cut and then re-drill. Okay, we're going to lift it out of the our fixture here and then take it out to the job site to show you how to attach it to the last rail that you already have laid. Okay, so we're going to bring our section up here and join the outside rail here. I'm going to put my joiners on, my bolts. Okay, so now we have the outside rail joined. Dave, go ahead and loosen those 2 screws we tightened down for transport. What we're going to do is slide the rail forward, and as you can see, leaving that loose, we were able to just bring it forward, and we'll throw our next set of joiners on here and didn't have to do any cutting. Okay, so now that we have the inside rail joined, we're going to go ahead and tighten down our screws and we'll be all set for the next section. Okay, so we have all our screws tightened down and we're ready to make our next section of track. So hope you found this video informative, and if you have any questions or concerns, just feel free to email us or give us a call.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks. That was, hopefully you guys found that informative, and, you know, it kind of gives you an overview of our you know, basic product. You know, that's it. Our ties are what are kind of the foundation of the whole rest of our product line. So that's where it all starts. So if anyone has any
One thing I want to
questions,
say about AccuTie is that they have the supplies. They have the ties, they have the neat rail joiners, the screws, the bolts, the rail, switch kits. They have it, and generally it's always in stock, to my knowledge. You can get it quickly. There's no waiting or very minimal waiting, and that's pretty nice these days. They're really on top of the game as far as track supplies and track systems. You know, their website, if you have to, Google it, AccuTie.com, and you're going to come up with a really neat, you know, you'll see all the really neat products that they do. Enterprise Plastics, which is sort of the mother company, as I understand,
yeah.
it's a really big, you know, very, very impressive company. And this is one little thing they do that really helps the hobby. You know, this is just a little finger of what they do. And it's really great for the hobby throughout the whole country and the world. And there's many, many, many miles of these tracks in all kinds of different environments, from hot to cold. And so the stuff works. It is proven. Whether it'll last a lifetime, none of us will ever know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
It's going to last longer than us. But, you know, it definitely is, you know, a longer lasting and much quicker system than the wood ties. All right, Ron.
I probably should say something.
Yeah.
This is Billy Click. We probably have bought thousands of your ties. We're the Comanche and Indian Gap Railroad in Pretty, Texas. For, you know, 5 years we've been rebuilding a main line that was made with wooden ties and roofing nails. And we've used these ties exclusively since then. And we've put down, we use what's known as West Coast rail size.
Yes, yeah.
We have aluminum, and we put down about somewhere around 4,000 feet of steel rail also. We put mostly on the outside of curves because we didn't have enough to do the whole railroad, but we've got aluminum and steel. And matter of fact, I think there's some people up there laying track today. So we bought lots of your ties.
Well, yeah, thanks a lot. And hopefully, how do they hold up in the heat of Texas down there? They seem to hold
The
up.
only thing that we have found that is not impervious to is when the steam locomotive drops its ashes on it.
Yeah,
they burn.
Same thing with wood, though.
Hey, I'm kidding about it. they tend to melt when you get them too hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's.
But other than that, I mean, it's wonderful. They go down easy. We can't imagine. Sometimes we have to lay a few off in a siding or something because we save them. Incidentally, for spacing, we use just a regular 2x4.
That's what you use for your spacing between each tie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially, you know, same with us.
3.5.
We do 1.5 inches between each tie.
Yeah, we do 3.5 inches between ties. We save a few ties that way.
Oh, okay, you're doing a 3.5.
Yeah, well, the side wide part of it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look at our track, you really can't tell. It still looks good.
Yeah, like I say, it's aesthetics. You know, it's just whatever you want. Because you know, I know there's guys out there who have 6-inch spacing, and they're running full size steamers over it, and they hold up just fine.
Well, we run all kinds of stuff too. So.
Jimmy, I wanted to say it's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, Richard.
Richard comes out to the CNIG. He knows what we're laying out there.
Yes, I do. A fine track.
Yeah, it is a wonderful track. It's one that I've missed not being to in a long time. As you can see, probably behind me, right under my Titan Trains logo, is the saying, "I'd rather be in Tlaquepaque."
Yeah.
Anyone from the CNIG knows what that is.
A lot of people don't know that one yet.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
On the gauging on 7 1/4, is the actual gauge 7 3/8?
Yes,
Like,
it is.
It is. Okay. I didn't catch that earlier. And that's the only gauge for 7 1/4?
Yeah, unless, because there's, like I said, there's some people use the 7.5 that actually measure 7.5 for running either 7 1/4 or 7.5 on. So we have that option, but the 7 3/8 is what we have designed specifically for 7 1/4. We don't have one that measures exactly 7 1/4.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks.
All right, Ron. I think Ron has something he wants to say. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I had two questions, if I could. Number one, I noticed you're not staggering the gaps, the junction plates. Normally, we try to stagger them at least a good couple of inches, 6 inches maybe. It makes give and take, if you will, on the rails a lot stabler rather than having them dip where both joints are at the same point. And I wanted to ask him, is there any kind of a camfer or lean on the tie plates, like the Acadies?
Yeah, yes, there is. The tie plates have a cant in them. You may be able to see here, if I can get it in the video, how there you can see the angle on there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
So they are canted, as well as our tie plates that we have for the wooden ties as well. They also have the angle on it, which you can.
Yeah, that's we're using you want that kind of grade a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we also do recommend staggering them. I guess in the video for the demonstration purposes, we kind of didn't, but we recommend also at least a few inches stagger.
Yeah, because if you have the joints in the same spot, that's the weakest point where it's going to tend to have a dip in them.
That's
Whereas
correct.
if you
Yes.
stagger them, it staggers the weight of especially a heavier locomotive, so that you don't have the sag at one point.
Well, they'll also
I agree
kink,
100%.
they'll also kink at the curves.
Yeah, it's a causes a weak spot at curves. You'll get a kink right there if you don't stagger them. Yes.
One thing we do at the CNIG is we pre-bend all rail, whether it's steel or aluminum on curves.
Mm-hmm.
So
we also pre-bend here at AccuTie. If you call and order rail from us and you want it bent to a specific radius, we do that, free of charge for any rail sales.
I think you also offer a rail bender, don't you?
Yeah, we also have a rail bender. Yes, it's just a push-through rail bender. It's a real simple design. You shove the rail in, just push it through, pull it out the other end, and it's got a nice radius on it.
And I think it's pretty affordable, especially if you're talking about a big track. It's a handy item to have, so you can have it right on site and do it to what you need.
Yeah, for $300, you have a fully functioning roller, and it does a great job. So if you're going to lay a lot of track, it's certainly a nice tool to have. As well as our rail punches too. We offer a whole line of rail punches for punching the ends of rails, so you don't have to worry about drilling and getting down on the ground and trying to drill a hole and making sure they line up. And our punch also makes the hole slotted, so it gives room for the expansion joint as well.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to jump in here, Jim, if you don't mind. As I said before, LALS replaced all of its aluminum rail with steel rail. And the main reason, because of the heat that we have down here. We were actually watching our aluminum rail twist like a snake. So we've replaced all of our track with steel. and the track comes from Europe. Where, I don't know where, but we do stagger pretty dramatically. We have a jig that we make 12-foot panels that are pre-staggered. So the entire layout has that stagger point because of a number of the things that you guys have already talked about. One of the questions I have about your particular track, what happens if, God forbid, you have a train that derails and tears up your the tie plates? What do you do?
As far as damaging the tie plate itself,
Yeah.
You may just need to replace that tie or series of ties in that area, because the tie plate's not going to move. It's just going to get damaged because they're molded in, so there's no way for it to move.
Yeah, and we also noticed that when we did what you're doing with the, I'm on the track crew. That's why I keep on watching you screw the screws in. We were always taught never to take the screws and put them, across from each other, because the ties have a tendency to twist. And if you put them opposite each other, then the ties don't twist. So that's the one difference that I have, but maybe you have better success. We've only been doing it since 52, 56, around there.
Oh yeah,
1956.
I hear all sorts of schools of thought on that. I can't say that any of them are wrong. The reason we put them straight across from each other is that's the shortest possible point between the two screws. Because when you stagger them, you're further away from the other screw. If you go straight across, that's the shortest distance between the two screw heads locking the rail in place.
But also the tie plate has a slot in it, so it's really hard for that tie.
Yeah, that was my next point. Yeah, because it's sitting in a recess in that tie plate. So for that tie to twist is, virtually, you'd be damaging the tie if that were to happen, which it holds it in place pretty well. So it kind of prevents that twisting action from happening, which I know exactly what you're talking about from my, experiences of putting, many feet of treated ties down. I know exactly what you're talking about. So
yeah,
that's why
also
we do it, but I'm not saying anyone's wrong with the way.
No. I understand. When you're coming to the joiner, and you had that very interesting piece of gear that you screwed into and punched holes through the end of the rails. Do you have one of those that would punch through steel?
At this point, we do not yet, but I know that there's going to be a demand for it, especially since we're going to be selling steel rail. So it's on the drawing board, but at this point in time, the three that we have on the market really aren't designed for steel.
Okay, when you get the steel one in, would you let us know? Because we really like that.
Yeah, well, after the call, if you could go to our website and send an email, that way we have your contact information, and we'd be glad to keep you updated.
Okay. Any other questions?
That punch is a real handy looking tool. We'd like to have one.
Yeah.
Look on their website. I think they'll sell you one.
Yeah.
They look worthwhile.
Yeah.
Just an observation, if I could. That punch, he said that punches an oblong hole for the rail to move for expansion and contraction. But we found it easier because we do use steel rail as well. We punch our holes straight, but we have a punch for the tie plates or the rail joiners.
I agree.
That's where the movement is allowed on the tie plates rather, rail joiners.
Rail joiners.
And the rail itself, because whether it be aluminum or steel, if you have a jig, you just go zip, zip, and you've got two holes.
I agree.
It's a lot easier to punch the tie plates than it is to punch the rail.
Absolutely.
The important thing is to have some slop there, some way for the rail to move. That's the important thing to end up with.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that
figured
that
since
allows
we're-
us to put insulation in between them on the gaps for the signaling.
Right.
One thing I'll say in my 40 some years of being in the hobby, track is one of the things where if you ask 10 people, there's 10 different ways to do it. And, you know, many of them right and few of them wrong. So there are a lot of good opinions out there and a lot to learn, especially when you see how other people do things. The great thing about what AccuTie is presenting is a pretty good standard, at least a great way to start and get going and understand. I think it's real good compared to the old days of, you know, putting wood ties and on the drill press and pre-drilling holes and so forth. Costs a little bit more money than the wood tie, but it's a whole lot better, quicker, and lasts longer.
Yeah, we're replacing all of ours too. The one thing that we try to encourage new people who are conversing with us, even not at the club, go to a club or a railroad near you and talk to people and learn. If you're learning how to swim, you don't jump in the deep end unless you're stupid like me. But, you know, you get more information. You don't have to be an expert to start this hobby. It's a fun hobby, and you have to try and learn more if you can.
All right. Well, one thing, I think that's a great point. You know, ask people, go see clubs. That's how it is on all these things about the hobby. But it's about time to wrap this up. Anyone else have any other quick questions for Jimmy?
I've got a question, Jim, but
Yes,
I'm new to the hobby. I've only been in it about 2 years, and we bought all of our track material from AccuTie, and I'll have to put in a word for the personnel at AccuTie. Being never had done this before, we kind of started a whole club, and with their equipment and their advice, anytime we had a problem, we called Jimmy and he was right on the phone and told us what to do or how to fix our problem. Took care of some issues with some stuff that didn't quite work on our switch kits. So I think it's an excellent company.
All right, you hear that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ron.
I was in the same way there. I just started out up here in Canada out here in New Brunswick, and I have like the closest track to me or club to me is about 8 hours away. So, and when I called AccuTie there about the ties and stuff like that, and I think I was talking to Debbie, and she was great the whole entire time talking to me and working me through this and everything too. So
yeah, I'll second that comment about Debbie. Great person to work with. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, you have anything else to say before we start closing it down?
I'd just like to say again, thanks, Jim, for having us on. I really, appreciate the invite, and it's been great, hearing from some of our existing customers, hoping to reach others out there that are interested in the hobby. And if you have any questions or, even just want information, feel free to contact us via email or give us a phone call. We love talking to people. Help you out with any questions you have, concerns, and all of our designs for all of our products have been from learning what other people in the hobby do. So if you have any ideas or, comments or, we are very open to that, because that's where we got all of our ideas from. So it's just talking to guys who've done this a lot longer than we have. So we really think we have a good product out there, and we want to get it in as many hands as possible, because we think it kind of revolutionizes the whole track laying portion of the hobby. So.
All right, glad to have you, Jimmy. And I want to have a little shout out to Connie Miracle. I see that she's on here of Miracle Graphics. Say hello, Connie. Connie and David. Are you working on graphics? Maybe they're not hearing us. But Miracle Graphics is who supplies all of our graphics, and I think most all of y'all probably know Connie Miracle of Miracle Graphics, or Miracle Railroad Products. I can see maybe trying to have them on sometime. So, look forward to that. it's about time to go. We certainly appreciate you visiting with us today, February 4th, 2021, coming from the world headquarters of Titan Trains in Boonsville, Virginia, and talking with Jimmy Clint of AccuTie. We look forward to